What's going on, you guys? Today I'm gonna show you guys how I made this KNOCK2 ISOxo style drop. Alright, let me know down in the comment section down below if you thought that was fire. We have a clear A and B section. A, B. Now that's the fundamentals of bass house. Pretty much every single popular bass house drop has these A and B, sometimes C sections. Back to A, B. Does that make sense? The structure changes everything. KNOCK2 heavily uses this A, B, and sometimes C section theory. Alright, so let's start with the production side of things. The main drum we've got here is this kick drum. And real quick, every single one of these samples you can find down in the description down below. This is my sample pack. Keep in mind, a nice kick has got to hit all of the frequencies that you like, all the way up until the mids. Why is that important? Because once you start drowning it out, especially in bass house with all these extra very heavy elements, you suddenly can't really hear the kick anymore unless you've got some punch in the mid frequencies, to come through a little bit. The earlier you start mixing in the progression of your song, the easier it'll be to handle later on. So that's our kick, and as you can see in our mixer, it's actually being sent through a drum bus. Now this is a trick I use in every single one of my videos. You'll see I just go on an insert, rename it drum bus, and then I just dock to right, and that's how I get it on the right side here of my mixer. That means no matter where I am, it'll always be on the right. It's just kind of handy. The same thing I've done with the sidechain, but I've put that on left, obviously, as you can see. All right, so this kick is going into a drum bus, along with all the other drums we're going to get into in a second. And in the drum bus, we've got a parametric EQ boosting the treble a little bit. This is just personal preference, and don't copy this for every single style of track. But in bass house and in heavier electronic dance music as well, in my opinion, the drums should be what hit the treble the most. The synths and the leads should be what hits the high mids. The bass lines should hit between bass and mids. The vocals should be hitting the mids and right here, and the bass line right here, and the sub right here. Now the sub, bass, that makes sense, but again, vocal, I like to have it in mid. I like to have the main body of it, basically. I like to have my leads and synths here in the high mids, and I'd like to have my drums in treble. Now you'll see that in further effect when we get later on. Now we have a sidechain here, and as you can see, the sidechain is just an automation on Fruity Balance on the sidechain insert, and we're just automating the volume here from 0 to 0.8 to 0.8 back to 0. All it does is that everything we route through that now avoids the kick, basically. We've got another kick though, and this is kind of unique to this track. A shortened techno kick from that same sample pack. Again, all of these drums and all of the samples, literally everything is from my new sample pack, so make sure to check it out down below. I'm just getting rid of that bass. This is kind of the A section, and we're layering it again with that sample. Even that bass loop is from my sample pack. Next thing here, we've got a clap in starting in the B section, the first B section here. A very simple 909 style inspired clap. It's going into the drum bus insert in the mixer as well. And this Nani here is a compressor. Now what it does, it compresses our kick and our clap together. Hear it without. You see how we're hitting like +4 decibels? As a peak, but it's not even sounding that loud. Now let's add that compressor in. We've reduced that peak and we've just glued it together, kind of forced it into becoming one. I love it. Quick note, we're actually texturing the kick from before with an extra little layer here. A little bit of highs. Again, as I said, I like layering the highs in the drums. You see what I mean? It just sounds so sick with the clap. Okay, I know. But basically, if that doesn't sound cool, That doesn't sound good, and something ain't right. My good friend Ivan, also known as Ivan Lake, I was sending him some music literally last night for some feedback, and he said, bro, change the kick. And I did, and it changed everything. So keep in mind, the main drums change your entire track. Alright, so they gotta be right. They gotta be the right fit for the right kind of drop. This does not mean find the kick that you like and use it for all of the tracks you're ever gonna make, because inevitably every single track you're going to make is gonna be vastly different. You're not a AI, you're not a machine. You like different kind of ideas. Not every kick is gonna fit every single style of drop. Each track deserves a different type of kick and a different type of clap. Let's move on. I got a little hat here. I'm actually gonna do a little bit of live mixing here. We don't need it to be hitting any sub, obviously. So take away. If you don't hear a difference, then you don't need it, given that you've got good enough speakers or good enough headphones, obviously. But it's a hat. You don't want any bass and sub frequencies in your hat, unless you're layering your hat with like a laser or like a tom. All right, but this is just a hat. Next, we got this top layer. Ooh! Well, let's just say chop of a top layer. So all together, fire, bro. At the end of the second bar, every second bar, we've got this chop here. It's also going into drum bass, like a little tiny fill. So you get right here. Little elements like that really bring your drums alive. And lastly, we've got this effects layer, which also in the A section starts off like this. Nice. All right, so let's talk about all the effects, all the little percussive elements that kind of bring the track into becoming a song. I'm gonna play it all here. That puts a smile on my face, bro. So, this iconic siren effect. Heavy delay, raising synth is just a fucking reverbed out saw wave that's raising in pitch ever so slightly. Delayed, 3 or 4 voices, it's going left and right. It's just atmospheric, you know? It's iconic. Alright, then we got this riser. Now keep in mind, guys, everything has to be in key. We are in D sharp minor, so I've had to put this down 500 cents, which is 500 semitones or tones, I don't know. 500 tones, I think, yeah. I think there's 12 tones and 8 semitones, which make an octave. Is that, no, I don't know. I don't know if that's right. We've got this downshifter, down riser. Then we've got this other one here. Then we've got this pre-drop vocal, if you know, you know. And then this is literally just my voice, but pitched down 300 tones. Hey, you know, be resourceful, you know. I don't think I have the nicest voice in the world, but pitch it down and it sounds kind of cool, you know, so. Nice, bro. Like, it all comes together. I forgot one thing here, this like vocal loop. Lastly, we've got these stabs. I've been on a roll these last 2 years, and I've been making so many of these stab sound effects. It's kind of what inspired me to make the Contraband sample pack, because I had so many stabs laying around. I was like, well, let me just layer these with basses, and what if I turn this into a 300 sample pack? I'd started out with these stabs, and I just think they sound fire. Obviously, it's 200 cents down. Without the pitch, it sounds like this. But again, it has to be in key. And the key is only decided by your main sample. So once again, that is this one right here. If I were to take all of this, all right, and now put a different, let's see, a different bass line here, okay? Alright, right? And if you were like feeling really crafty, obviously make your own bass line, use Serum, or use one of these bass one shots. Alright. And you get the idea. If you did like this video, make sure to let me know down in the comment section down below. Once again, if you want to support the sample pack that we created to make all of this, you can find it linked down in the description of this video. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and watch this video. Legends, I'm out. Peace. For real. Adios. Ciao. Arrivederci.